Hello friends, welcome to our channel Concept Well. Today we will be talking about coordinate system, the first chapter of coordinate geometry in our class 11th or 12th syllabus, including the JEE syllabus. So let's begin. Our chapter is coordinate geometry. So each of us know that there is a two axis in the two-dimensional plane, that is the y-axis and the x-axis. We can define any point with respect to these planes on the on the two-dimensional plane. Now, a point P is always given by two coordinates, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Now, if there are 2 points, so there is another point Q. Let P have coordinates x1 and y1 and Q have coordinates x2 and y2. Okay, so the first topic in today's video is the distance formula. What is the distance formula? The distance formula gives us the distance between 2 points. Let us assume we are finding the distance between P and Q. Let it be D. So D will be equal to root under x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay, so this is called the distance formula. Now, by this formula we can also get the distance between the point from the origin. The origin is where the x and y axis intersect. So the origin has coordinates 0, 0. What will be the distance of P from origin? It will be given by, let it be capital D. Capital D equals root x1 square plus y1 square, since x1 minus 0 whole square is always x1 square, and similar is the case in y. So distance formula is done. Now we are going to the section formula. What is the section formula? Let us rub this part. Let PQ be a line. Okay. Now there is an arbitrary point on the line PQ. Let it be C. C have coordinates x and y. So how can we determine the coordinates of C if we are given that C divides the line PQ in ratio m and n? Given PC is to CQ equals m is to n. So the coordinates of the C will be C x comma y equal to m x2, means the ratio of the part with along with the coordinate of the second part, I mean this one with this one. So mx2 plus similarly the ratio of this part and the coordinate of the other part, I mean x1. So n x1 divided by m plus n. This is the x coordinate, and the y coordinate becomes m y2 plus n y1 by m plus n. This gives us the coordinates of C. So this is for internal division. This is internal division. What about external division? Now let me define first what is external division. External division is Let there be 2 points again, A x1 comma x y1 and B x2 comma y2. Let there be a point C somewhere. Say it is here, C x3 comma y3. Now C will divide AB, not internally as can be seen here, but if we take AC is to BC, so C is dividing AB in a ratio which is externally. So let AC is to BC equals M is to N. How to find now the coordinates of C? So C x3 comma y3 equal to M means AC with the coordinates of B. So mx2 here minus n x1 by again m minus n, not plus. Similar for y, m y2 minus n y1 by m minus n. And this is the section formula for external division. Now the third part is area of a polygon. Now there are many methods to find the area of polygon, but I will tell you to remember only one. This will be helpful. So let there be a polygon, n-sided polygon. And there are n vertices. If there are n sides, there are n vertices. So let the vertices have coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2 and so on up to xn, yn. So how to find the area? Simple method. Area equals 1 by 2 mod of, this is called staircase method. So we write x1 here, y1 here, x2 here, y2 here, and so on to xn here, yn here. How will we do this? Multiply x1 with y2 and subtract the multiplication of x2 and y1. Similarly, this is a unit, and similarly here if there is x3, y3, and it will continue like this up to xn, yn, but xn, yn will also go with x1, y1. So this, it comes out to be like this: 1 by 2 mod of x1 y2 minus x2 y1 plus x2 y3 minus x3 y2 and so on till x n y1 minus x1 yn. Remember this is the easiest method. If we are told to find the area of a triangle, triangle has three sides. Let us take x1 y1, x2 y2 and x3 y3. Area will come out to be, okay, first 1 by 2 x1 y2 minus x2 y1 plus x2 y3 minus x3 y2 plus x3 y1 minus x1 y3. Okay, so by this we can determine the area of any polygon n-sided. Now I will be telling you some properties by which we can determine if given 4 points represent a parallelogram, a square, a rectangle, or rhombus. It will be very easy. For parallelogram, first prove diagonals bisect each other. Okay, what are diagonals? Let there be 4 points of any coordinates. This is not a parallelogram, but for illustration, let points be A, B, C, D. So we have to show that first we have to find out the midpoint. Means we have the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. Okay, so we will do what? We will find the midpoint of AC and BD. How will we do that? Let we are taking only example of A and C, XA, YA, and XC, YC. Now the point, let it be O. It divides AC in ratio 1:1. So it will be easy for us. O, if X and Y are coordinates of it, then it will be just XA plus XC by 2, comma YA plus YC by 2. And similarly we have to find the midpoint of BD, and we have to just prove them to be the same point. Means this X and Y, XY will come the same. If they come different, then it is not a parallelogram. If it is not a parallelogram, then it is not a square, not a rhombus, not a rectangle. Now how to prove that the given 4 points represent a rhombus? Obviously, for a rhombus, AC and BD will bisect. So first point, diagonals bisect, and the second point is two adjacent sides are equal. So two adjacent sides are equal. So previously we have shown how to prove the diagonals bisect. Now how to show that two sides are equal? Just use the distance formula. Let us take the example of AB and AD. Just use the distance formula to find the distance of A to B and find the distance from A to D. If these two are equal, then adjacent sides are equal, and it is a rhombus. Now how to prove that it is a square? So square has a special property. These two will be same. We have to prove that diagonals bisect each other and the two adjacent sides are equal. And the third property will be that diagonals are also equal. Diagonals are equal means AC equals BD. Here what it comes? AB equals AD, and here diagonals are equal. So to prove it is a square, we have to follow 3 steps. And the last one, for a rectangle, how to prove that this is a rectangle? Obviously diagonals bisect because a rectangle is also a parallelogram, but two adjacent sides are not equal. but diagonals are equal. So we have to show just two things. Diagonals bisect, it will prove that it is a parallelogram, and diagonals are equal. This will prove that it is a rectangle. Moving on, we have coordinates of different centers of a triangle. Now let there be a triangle A, B, C. Let length of side BC be small a, length of side AC be small b, and length of side AB be small c. Okay, and coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2, and x3, y3. Let this angle be angle P, this be angle A, and this be angle C, capital C obviously, this one. First one, this is centroid. Centroid is given by x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 and y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. This is the centroid. Centroid is often termed as G. Now what is centroid? Centroid is the point of intersection of medians. What is a median? Median is the line joining one vertex with the midpoint of the other two vertices. So if this is the midpoint of BC, and AD is the median, one median. So there are three medians, and this is G. Now the second one, which is incenter. What is incenter? Incenter is the point of intersection of internal angle bisectors. I mean, this is the angle B, suppose. This is A, this is C. Let the internal bisector run like this. Internal bisector of angle B, and internal bisector of angle A, internal bisector of angle C. They all meet at this point. This is called the incenter. How to find the incenter? Incenter is A, the length of side opposite to the vertex multiplied by the coordinate of the vertex, ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 by a plus b plus c, and ay1 plus by2 plus cy3 by a plus b plus c. It is often termed as I. Now the third one is x center. Now let me tell you that x center is of the least importance of all the kinds of centers I will be showing you, because questions if come, then they will obviously come in JEE Advanced. It is highly least probable to come in JEE Mains or BITSAT, or it will never come in boards, 11th or 12th boards. So but it is important, it is a conceptual part. So let me show you. Let there be a triangle, this triangle only, but I have extended two sides. Now let a circle be drawn such that it touches one side and the extension of other two sides. The center of the circle is called the x center. And how to find the x center? The x center is given by Suppose we are finding the excenter opposite to this A, this vertex. So we will take negative of the length opposite to the vertex, negative minus a into, similar as in center, minus a into x1 plus b x2 plus c x3 by again minus a plus b plus c comma minus a y1 plus b y2 plus c y3 by minus a plus b plus c. This is how we find the excenter. Now if you are told to find the excenter opposite to b, how will you do that? Just follow this one with negative of b. So ax1 minus bx2 plus cx3 by a minus b plus c, and a y1 minus by2 plus cy3 by a minus b plus c. So three of our centers are done, and excenter is abbreviated as E usually. Now comes the fourth and most important, the circumcenter. Maximum questions come from this part. What is circumcenter? Circumcenter, often termed as O. It is the point which is equidistant from all three vertices of the triangle. So how to find the circumcenter? Circumcenter is the point of intersection of bisectors of each sides, means the line perpendicular to the side passing through its middle. So this is the circumcenter. How to find the circumcenter? Circumcenter we can find by using this equation: x1 coordinate multiplied by sine of 2 times the angle, means x1 sine 2a plus x2 sine 2b plus x3 sine 2c by sine 2a plus sine 2b plus sine 2c, comma y1 sine 2a plus y2 sine 2b plus y3 sine 2c by sine 2a plus sine 2b plus sine 2c. Now another important center, the orthocenter. Usually termed as H. Orthocenter is the point of intersection of altitudes. This one, this one, and this one. Not a correct drawing. I will be drawing it again. This and this. These are the altitudes of corresponding sides. So the point of intersection of altitudes will be orthocenter. What is orthocenter? Orthocenter is given by x1 tan A, x coordinate multiplied by tan of angle, tan A plus x2 tan B plus x3 tan C by tan A plus tan B plus tan C and y1 tan A plus y2 tan B plus y3 tan C by tan A plus tan B plus tan C. This is the orthocenter. Now some properties of these centers. for any triangle, the circumcenter O, the orthocenter H, and the centroid G, it is given that G divides O and H in internally in ratio OG is to GH equals 1 is to 2. So we can see that OG and H lie on the same line. And for an isosceles triangle, this is a good point. And for an isosceles triangle, O, H, G and I lie on same line. So they are collinear. In isosceles triangle, the orthocenter, circumcenter, the centroid and incenter are collinear, and in case of any triangle, the orthocenter, circumcenter and the centroid are collinear, and the circumcenter divides centroid and orthocenter in ratio 1 is to 2. Now let us have some concept upon the slope of a line. What is a line? A line is a curve joining two points with a constant slope. Let a point be a x1 comma y1 and b x2 comma y2. What is a slope? Slope is the angle made by the line with the x-axis. Suppose this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. The line makes an angle theta. So m, or the slope, will be tan of theta. Now line may also go like this. Here it may also be here. This will be the angles, and tan of the angles will be the slope. How to find the slope? Now let us have a brief discussion. This is a point. Let us take 2 points, one on the x-axis and one arbitrary point. This is suppose a comma 0 coordinates, and this is suppose b comma c. So this is angle theta. We see that this, what is the distance, what is the height of this point from x-axis? It is obviously c. And what is the distance between this point and the point where point of means exposure of this point, this part on the x-axis? What will be this distance? This will be b minus a. And if we take tan theta equals perpendicular by base, so c by b minus a. Now let us take another arbitrary point on this place. Let it be e comma f. So tan theta will come to be c minus f by b minus e. So overall what we find is, for any 2 points, the points given, the slope of the line m equals y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 equal to y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2. So this is the slope. Now how do we identify if two lines are parallel or perpendicular? Now if two lines are parallel, suppose this line is here, this line is here, and this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. It makes an angle theta. Obviously, since these two are parallel, we have seen in class 10th that two parallel lines, if one line intersects two parallel lines, then the corresponding angles are equal. So this will also be theta. So tan of theta will be same for these two lines. So slope is same. For two parallel lines, slope is always same. So for condition for parallel, M1 equals M2 for two lines L1 and L2. And for perpendicular, it's two lines. If two lines are perpendicular to each other, they have an angle of 90 degree between them. So the slope becomes M1 into M2 equals -1. So this is the condition of two lines to be parallel or perpendicular. And how to find the angle between two lines. If the angle is alpha, tan alpha is given by slope of two lines, let they be m1 and m2. So m2 minus m1 by 1 plus m1 and 2 mod of it. It will give the acute angle between the two lines. And now another important part, locus. There are 3 points to remember. Just to find locus of a given curve, you have been given certain conditions. Now let a point on the curve be, let a point be h comma k. Now obviously h comma k satisfies all the conditions given in the question. So write conditions related to h and k. Third part, eliminate other variables. Eliminate variables other than h and k. The fourth part, substitute x and y correspondingly in place of h and k, and you will get the locus. Let us give an example. Suppose we are given that we have to find the locus of a point such that the distance of the point from the line x equal to minus a is the same as the distance of the point from from a point given a comma 0. A is a constant. So let us take h and k, point h comma k, p. So distance from x equal to a. What will be the distance? We will learn in later chapter the straight lines. That distance will be given by, suppose this is x plus a equals 0. Distance will be given by h plus a by by 1 by root 1, or yes, root 1 square. So it's h plus a, and distance from this point we can easily find h minus a whole square plus k square root under. This is equal to this, equal to h plus a. So h minus a whole square plus k square equal to h plus a whole square. K square equal to h plus a whole square minus h minus a whole square. It comes to be 4ah. K square equals to 4ah. Substituting k as y and h as x, we get y square equal to 4ax. Now the conditions which I told just were the conditions for parabola, and this is the general equation of a parabola. I think all of you have understood. Now the last topic, shifting of origin, rotation of axis and polar coordinates. So what are polar coordinates? Let a point be P, x comma y. Let the line joining and point P with origin make an angle theta with the x-axis, and the distance from P to O be r. Then the polar coordinates are given to be r comma theta, such that x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. So r equals root x square plus y square, and tan theta equals y by x. Just remember this. And another point, if we are given like this, it makes an angle theta, and this is r. We give the coordinates as minus r comma theta, but it can also be replaced by r comma theta plus pi. Since cos theta plus pi is negative, sin theta plus pi is also negative, and so r cos theta or sin theta both turns out to be negative. This is the concept of polar. Polar coordinates is over. And now the last topic, shifting of origin and rotation of axis. Let the origin was at O and it is shifted at point capital X comma capital Y. Sorry, not take capital X and capital Y, take H comma K. And we have been told to find the new coordinates of a point P, X and Y. So we see that taking only one axis, we see that let the new coordinates be capital X and capital Y. Capital X becomes x minus h, since if this was x and this is h, so new coordinates are what? X minus h. Yeah. And y turns out to be y minus k. Capital Y equals small y minus k. These are the coordinates of the new points. Now if you are given the equation of a line or a curve, you have been told that the origin has been shifted from one point to the other. You cannot put in place of, you have been told to convert the equation accordingly. You cannot put capital X equal to x minus h. That means you cannot do this. Suppose you are given y square equal to 4ax. So you have to understand that from this equation you see capital X means the new coordinates equals old coordinate minus h. So old coordinate was x plus h and y was capital Y plus k. So you have to put x plus h in place of small x and y plus k in place of small y. So what happens? Y plus k whole square equals 4a into capital X plus h. This is the new question. Now this is shifting of origin and rotation of axis. Suppose we are told that the axes were like this and they are rotated by an angle theta. What are the new coordinates? Again, I am giving you a table, just memorize it. Suppose the new coordinates are x dashed and y dashed, and old coordinates were x and y. Take this to be x cos theta and y sine theta, and this is minus sine theta and cos theta. What will you do if you are told to find coordinates, new coordinates? X dash equals to x cos theta and y plus y sine theta, and y dash equals minus x, since minus x sine theta plus y cos theta. These are the new coordinates of a point. But if you are told to convert an equation of a curve, what will you do? We will obviously substitute values of x and y with, it comes x equals to x dashed cos theta minus y dashed sine theta, and y equals x dashed sine theta plus y dashed cos theta, and we will put x and y in the curve equation and we will get the new equation. So this is rotation of axis. Now a typical question arises in certain cases. If we are told that we have been given an equation like this, ax square plus 2hxy plus by square, and we have to remove the term xy without changing the origin. How will we do that? We will rotate the axis by an angle theta, which will be given by tan 2 theta equal to 2h by a minus b. Okay, and by rotating by an angle theta, we will get an equation with, means you have I have just given how to find new equation from old equation after rotation of axis through an angle theta. We will use that concept and we will substitute values of initial x and initial y with x dash, terms of x dash and y dash. So if we are given like this, it is moved by an angle theta, so we will put, in place of x we will put x dash cos theta minus y dash sin theta, and in place of y we will put x dash sin theta plus y dash cos theta, and we will get the new equation which will not have the term xy. So this video is over. I hope you all have understood, and I have completed the full chapter. Each and every part has been covered in this video. I will do a video on all the chapters and obviously on exercises, some of the good questions. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet, and do ring the bell icon.